Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Keep It Simple with Benji. This is a home where we keep up with travel vloggers and we review their travels and we see if they met our expectations or not. And so for this episode, we are going to look at African Tigress. African Tigress, she has been to UK so far. One thing I love about this UK trip for African Tigress, or one thing I love about African Tigress content, is that she tries to stay at a place for quite some time, and also she tries really to be able to meet people or content creators within that area and collaborate with them. And by this, she's able to cover most of the things that we expect to see. And sometimes you also find that she also maybe repeats countries, and by this really we can say that this is a real travel, because we can be able to see a lot of things and a lot of content from a specific country from African Tigress in most of the countries that she has gone or she has visited. So for this UK trip, we had initially looked at the first episodes of what exactly happened. There was a backlash between her and Marwa, and I don't really understand why. I don't want to spend more time in that. But there is a lot that has happened, and I mean, we should not maybe put more energy towards that. But one thing is, the trip to UK first, it started with the backlash, and again it was a very happy trip because again she was able to connect with the family and they were able to spend like a holiday or a coming holiday. It was so loving. I love this. This was a well-planned trip. I mean, it was a well-planned travel, and it was amazing in having the right mind to create content and right energy around you to create content. Now, we've seen her episodes with this content creator, Ghanfuntube. Yeah, Ghanfuntube, yes, if at all. I hope I'm not calling him, or I'm not saying the wrong name. I think it's Ghanfuntube. You're going to look at the description and also the title. Now, one thing that I kept asking myself was, did African Tigress or did Ghanfuntube, or both of them, did they understand the assignment? I mean, I love the kind of content that they shot and they showed us. Number one, Ghanfuntube is someone who really understands cars. And one thing that I've come to realize about the travel vloggers, I have not seen a travel vlogger, if they're there, then correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe you can share with me some of the links. But I've not seen a travel vlogger going to a country, a high-end country, and trying to showcase some of the high-end cars and so on and so forth. Most of the time when they talk about where the rich hide, most of the time they will just showcase an area, the houses, the constructions, and so on and so forth. But this, it was quite different. I mean, this was quite different because we were able to see some of these high-end cars. And Ghanfuntube is a person who understands the assignment, who understands the cars. So he could even quote the prices. It was a well-researched thing. I've been talking about research when it comes to content creation and what you're showcasing. I mean, it was amazing. For me, I love that content. I love the content. And it was great. Number two, African Tigress was also able to meet one of the people, or a Kenyan rather, Lydia, she is an entrepreneur. She's a business lady. She lives in the UK, and you are able to have a taste of understanding what diaspora is and also understanding what exactly usually happens. Now, remember when African Tigress got to go to, the first episodes of London, she was feeling very, like people are not quite friendly, which we came to see later on when she visited the rich people, or the area where rich people are very friendly. You take pictures with your car, they don't mind about that, and like what was there in the first episodes. There are people who say money don't make noise. Yeah, it doesn't, and I think those people are very cool. Now, she was able to meet one of the person who lives in the diaspora, and she's a Kenyan, and I love the content that she gave us and the talk that they were. It was more of a motivation, and it was more of understanding what usually happens when it comes to people going to relocate to diaspora. Again, that content was amazing. If you've not watched it, kindly just go and watch it. I know putting anything to the internet, it has both sides of the coin. There are people who are going to criticize it, and there are people who are going to like it. But the most important thing is, what can we learn, and what are some of the things that we can pick up and learn and understand some of these things from diaspora. Number 2, if you've followed African Tigress for quite some time, because I know I've followed her since she started her YouTube channel, number 1, you will understand that African Tigress is not a person who loves putting her information or anything around her life so openly to the YouTube. But with a few live sessions, and also at the same time with the family now coming, they are really on camera and coming to the London. I feel like the UK tour has made her to loosen a bit and at least have a conversation and be very open whenever people ask her questions about herself. I know live session can take long, an hour, 2 hours. So most people would, if at all you're not in the live session, most people wouldn't want to come back to watch the live session because of the length. But in those live sessions, there are very pertinent questions that most of the subscribers ask, and she has been very categorical and giving answers. And so by this, I think with time she's also becoming vulnerable to the subscribers, and she's loosening a bit to share most of her life, and also it's an encouragement, because if you listen to her story and some of these things, I'm sure you're going to be inspired, or there's someone who is going to be inspired somewhere. One thing that I have also come to appreciate, and especially with the Europe tour for Dimwango and this UK tour for African Tigress, is that as time goes by, people tend to align themselves to what they love more and what they do, they are good at. If you look when they were starting together, when they were collaborating, most of their content, to some extent, not always, but to some extent, was kind of the same. But when I'm looking at right now, and especially the way it is, every person has branded themselves to a certain level, and we appreciate that. It is always to be authentic with your own content, and it's always good to love what you do and show us, your fans, that side of it and the kind of content that you love making. We will watch everything, and of course we are going to appreciate it. And so I think it is always good to have, and I said about it, just have something different about you and just showcase some of the things that you're fun and you love and you're passionate for, and not just copy pasting someone else's content. Now, when it comes to the African Tigress and especially the UK content, we are seeing a lot of networking. We are seeing that even when she's having a live session, some of the topics that they are discussing, it's very pertinent topics. If we talk about the diaspora and the living in the diaspora, it is a very pertinent topic that also will also inform us and teach us and make us understand, those people who we are back in Africa and we're not living in diaspora, what kind of life is there in diaspora. I mean, yes, we love the content of traveling and seeing places, but again, that bit of understanding and that bit of passion that AT is showing, it's quite important, and some of us, we can also take lessons from that. So it's always good to be authentic and do your research, and again, be inspired. Sometimes it also trickles down who inspires your content. What kind of content do you really want to portray out there and to put out there, which is very amazing. The networking part, so far we know that it is going to have a meet and greet. Depending on when I'm going to upload this video, it might have happened or it might not have happened, and so we are really looking forward to see. I know there are people who are not very open to be on camera, but again, we are hoping to see some snippets of what is happening, which is very amazing. You know, it's quite amazing, and yeah, we really look forward to that. Yeah, so the whole thing of the UK trip for African Tigress, for me, I would say she has really done a lot, and she has showcased most of the things, but I still feel there is a bit of things that we are not able to see, because I mean, when you talk about UK, it's not just a matter of London itself, you know. There are other towns, there are other, I don't know whether they call it counties or anything, Kina Wales and so on and so forth. And so I feel, I don't know, I mean, the UK itself, now, I don't know. Let's wait and see, because again, I might come and talk about it, and maybe she's traveling to other areas within the UK or within the jurisdiction for the UK. But so far, she has really done a lot, and she has even surpassed some of the things that we were expecting. Now, during a live session, I asked a question about her being inspired by Steve Nduku and having quite a good quality of the content. For sure, she has improved. We can see the content that she's having, and we can see that the quality that she's having. I mean, you cannot compare it with when she was doing DRC, when she was doing Kina Senegal, when she was doing Zimbabwe. You know, you cannot really compare. She has really improved, and that is where we are happy now, because we can see growth. That is amazing. Thank you for watching this episode. Kindly subscribe to my channel, like and share. Let's look at the next episode.